Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark. My name is Matt Jarbo. Tonight is the 9th of February, 2022. My God, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon News Futurama has returned from the grave once again. Bob Saget's death confirmed. And what the hell was going on with the Book of Boba Fett finale? Who knows if we're going to talk about that? We probably will. All of that and more here tonight. Hollywood After Dark, your best spot for late night movie talk. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the showtime. Let me just get that off the screen there. Hope everyone out there is having a fantastic day or night, wherever the hell it is, whenever the hell it is. If you're checking out the podcast, of course, we are back tonight, Wednesday, the 9th of February, 2022. My God, there is a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot that's happened tonight, a lot of good, a lot of crazy, and of course, very tragic. So why don't we just dive right into it before we get going here? Welcome to the show, Hollywood After Dark. Of course, if you guys haven't already, check out Podio Commentary. I keep pimping it because I do love it, and eventually I will update it. YouTube.com/Podio Commentary. It is the best place to get my thoughts on movies as I talk about the history of them, why they came together, and give my overall thoughts. You guys can find the newest episode, which will be The Fugitive, premiering tomorrow night on the channel. Very excited to be putting that together. Finally have the time to do it. And of course, I'm still working on a kind of thumbnail. This might be it. I got no idea. This is a 1993 movie. Let me just be fair. This is a 1993 film. There's not a lot of assets that are available in a larger capacity, like poster-wise, to make a cool looking thumbnail out of. This is like legitimately one of the only, if not the only, poster artworks I could find for this movie. Great film. Looking forward to talking about it. But there you go on that. So check it out, youtube.com/Podio Commentary. And if you guys want to get your questions answered tonight, we'll be doing the call-in line, 323-305-4101. That's 323-305-4101. Please keep your messages to about 30 seconds or less. That way we can get through more of them faster and keep them concise or good. That's all I'll say about that. Some of you, and I'm a long-winded motherfucker, so I understand that. But some people get a little long-winded. But if you keep it concise, it is all good. So that is that out of the way right now. So we're here to the start of the show. Let's bring in tonight's panelists. You know them, you love them, RJ and Jimbo. What up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
One of the craziest news days of the year. Maybe it's been a while since we've had this much stuff to talk about, it feels like.
And I didn't even get everything that's going on, to be fair. Like, there's the whole Snoop Dogg buying Def Jam records.
The Nintendo Direct.
Sorry, Death Row, not Def Jam. Death Row.
Yeah, Death Row
Records. Yeah. That's more my jam because, I'm a child of the 90s, so I grew up listening to, like, hardcore Compton gangster rap, right? Mm. So, like, I knew the Death Row lineup.
Yeah, no, that's big in that's big.
It's big in music. That's big for me. You mentioned Nintendo. I could give a shit less about Nintendo. I'm sorry, man.
Listen, that Nintendo Direct was really good, though. It was a really
good outside, because I was sleeping when it was on. I took a nap, so I didn't even know until after it was over. And I think I saw you freaking out in like the private chat about it. Outside of JRPGs, of which I could care not, was there anything interesting?
They're bringing back Klonoa 1 and 2 remastered.
What the hell is that?
It's a platformer. It's a classic platformer. It's a great game. The Force Unleashed is coming back. The Wii version's getting a modern remaster with motion controls for Switch.
I did see a thing with that. I saw a screenshot and we're all like, wait, really? That seems kind of odd of today of all days to make that announcement. Right? A little bit.
Also, the Mario Kart news is pretty big. They're adding 48 new tracks in waves of DLC over the next year. There's also a new Fire Emblem game, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Listen, I'm a big JRPG guy, so for me, I got a lot of cool stuff to look forward to.
That is true. I get all that.
It depends what you're into.
JRPGs have like never really interested me. I like the was it Final Fantasy Tactics? Right, like or Fire Emblem with like the permadeath sort of thing. Like I feel like
there was a Fire Emblem game, but it's Fire Emblem Warriors, the Musou Dynasty Warriors type game. It's set. It's a sequel, but it takes place in the world of Three Houses. I don't know if you played Three Houses for the Switch.
No, I never did.
But it takes place during the 5-year time skip. So,
oh my god.
Front Mission 1 and 2 remakes announced as well.
Oh wait, hold on here. Is this true Chrono Cross remastered?
Yes.
Okay, that has my attention. That has my attention because I remember Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger from back in the day. So those ones are I will give it up for those. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like.
And Splatoon 3 Salmon Run mode. They showed that it's the new version of Salmon Run from Splatoon 2.
Well, I know that they're doing Splatoon 3. I own Splatoon 2. I've never played it, but I have it.
Just wait for Splatoon 3.
Like I fucking dropped like $50 on it. Like, you never played it. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna sit. Oh no, you know what it was? Is I bought Splatoon 2 and then I picked up, and I'm looking at it right now, it's still on my desk. I bought a Nintendo Online subscription, right? The $20 for the year. And for some reason, the damn thing wouldn't work. The damn thing would not work. Like I couldn't do it through the Switch. It was like, here, put your PayPal in. I'm like, fine, here's my PayPal, which is already connected to my Switch anyway. Wanted it again, and then it's like, sorry, it can't validate. I'm like, but it's already on the Switch. I've bought games digitally. The fuck are you doing, Nintendo? This is a valid thing. It just pissed me off, and I, honest to God, like, we'll have to just go and spend another $20 probably at this point. But their online has been so terrible with it anyway. Yeah, so
I understand that.
Not one person that gives a shit about Smash Online.
Well, I would say not a single person. There are people who do play Smash Brothers Online. By the way, speaking of Nintendo Online, they did announce that Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service today. Actually, it came out today. So if you're into Earthbound, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember those games from back in the day. Check them out. I feel like with Nintendo, I mean, this is gonna sound really weird, and I'm probably gonna catch a lot of shit for it, but like, I look at Nintendo and then I look at the Amico and I'm like, those two things are relatively like the same project at this point. They're just like the same style.
Did you guys talk about Nintendo Switch Sports as well?
Oh yeah, Switch Sports.
Like, where's Matt? Where's the classic Matt? I want to beat him. I haven't beat him. He was my childhood enemy on that game.
Oh, Matt the Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not. You're talking about like, I remember like the Power Pad.
No, there's a me. It was a big black guy named Matt who you fought, and he was like one of the most difficult me's like in the CPU. He became like a meme. So there's no me's in the game. It's like they made like these new character models.
I just
feel, I don't know. I want
Matt.
I saw that Nintendo Sports was coming back. I remember.
Oh shoot! I forgot. Real quick, Mario Strikers, the Mario soccer game. That got announced, a new game. It's been a long time since Mario. Since 2007. Yeah,
it's been a long time since Strike. I remember when they first that was coming out. I was at E3 and they had it there. I remember seeing a lot of billboards for it. It looked like a lot of fun. Mario Tennis was fun. Mario Baseball was fun. I was like, what, Super Mario All Stars? I think is what that was called. Or something like that. Yeah, I mean, like, they've done enough. But when I talk about Nintendo, I honestly feel at this point, I'm like, look, I was listening to Justin Proper over on Max's stream, and as much as I think Justin's an idiot, he did make one salient point. Nintendo was really good at just reselling you shit. They're just really good at reselling you stuff. And I think at this point, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been a fan since I was a child, like a literal 8-year-old kid, Like, it's been the vast majority of my life enjoying Nintendo products. I've had my Switch now for coming up on 5 years. I've barely played it. And
I mean, that's the thing, right? For me personally, maybe that's why I don't mind as much, because for me, the last Nintendo console I owned, like home console, was the GameCube. I missed out on the Wii and GameCube generations. I never owned a SNES or any of that stuff. So a lot of these games are ports and remasters, like from the PS1, PS2, Wii era. They're new games to me. Like, all these are new games and franchises to me, because I wasn't big into Nintendo.
No, I understand that. I think what it is, I'm just kind of like, when I look at Nintendo, I feel that they don't do enough to be competitive. And I know they don't have to be competitive. I understand that. I get that.
They want to be weird.
They want to be weird,
being weird and just doing their own thing.
But I still think, and I know people out there are going to give them money regardless. So that's like, my opinion means nothing. And I'll definitely like invest into it. Like, I'm looking forward for my daughters to get a little older so we can play Animal Crossing together. Like, I'm excited for that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. And then I'm looking forward to like playing those kind of games with them and whatnot, because they'll be age appropriate. Whereas, like I'm sitting there playing Cyberpunk 2077 the other night, and it's like 2:00 in the morning. And all of a sudden, like both my kids wake up. My girlfriend's trying to put the youngest one back to bed. And the oldest one is like, I want to go hang out with daddy. And I'm like, fuck, cause I'm like, okay, what am I, so she comes in the bedroom. I'm like, this is a very violent video game. Like I can't play this with you here. And then I'm like looking through my catalog of what I have on the Xbox Series S, and I'm like, maybe Ghost Recon could be a thing, because it's not so bad from a distance, and she's not really paying much attention to it. And thankfully, it was like a brain dance scene that I was at in the game, so I just kind of went through the brain dance. It was one further on into the game, not the first one.
Well, yeah, not the first one. But
yeah, it was the one in the mayor's office. So it's that one. Yeah. So that's where I'm at right now, and so like thankfully I was able to like distract her enough to like get that done, and then I just turned it off and went to bed, and I'm like, all right, I'm not.
There's some mantis blades or anything.
I don't use mantis blades in the game, but what I mean by that is like, it's I prefer more of a stealth route anyway. I'm more of a stealthy player on that game. However, for the Nintendo stuff, I look at that and I'm like, I love Nintendo. I've always loved Nintendo, but it's like, where is a Bubble Bobble remake? Like where is fucking Blades of where's Blades of Glory? Where's Arch Rivals? Where's like fuck, dude, give me Blades of not Blades of Glory, Blades of Steel. Blades of Glory is a Will Ferrell movie from 2005. But Blades of Steel, where that was the hockey game when I was a kid, that was the one where you were like, all right, we're going to get into fights. Arch Rivals was 3v3 basketball where you could beat the crap out of other players. Like those are the games that if you want to recapture like the youth of when I was a kid, like give us a solid Mega Man 2 remake. Give us a solid, remake.
That's
of Super
Capcom
Mario.
Though, man. That's like
but it's like I know it's Capcom, and I know Capcom like is going to do what they're going to do. But I'm talking about just in general, right? If you're going to go back and like do all this stuff over again, like really dig deep into the catalog. Like give us a fucking updated, version of Custer's Revenge.
Well, no, we don't need that. But here's the thing, Matt. They are cutting deep. But remember, these are third-party developers for the most part, not Nintendo themselves. These third parties, I mean, Square Enix especially, like, they're releasing a lot of games that never made to the West. And, well, it depends on the genre you're interested in, though. A lot of these are JRPGs that people are really into, So, I don't know. Does the Mario Kart news, by the way, excite you at all, what they're doing with that?
I haven't played Mario Kart in a while, and I know games I'm talking about are not specifically Nintendo published or Nintendo developed. I understand that. I'm merely saying, like, from when I was a kid, these are the games that I played. Like, I would love Konami to actually sit there and remaster Contra, but to do it in a way that maintains like the same style of gameplay and not go as stupid as they went down the road. Like, I would love to see some of those older games come back in a newly remastered fashion. The problem with it is just that I don't know if the nostalgia is entirely there. So that's all. You can play Leisure Suit Larry on the Switch, not the original, not the 8-bit, not EGA version on PC. Have you ever heard of the Leisure Suit Larry games?
They sound familiar, but I don't
all right. So there was back in the day, there was a really popular developer called Sierra Online Entertainment.
Yes, Sierra. They make King's Quest, right?
King's Quest, Police Quest, Space Quest, a litany of other games. One of the franchises that they had was a franchise called Leisure Suit Larry, and it was about a Larry in a leisure suit going through Las Vegas trying to get laid. It was an adult themed game that spun off like a multitude of sequels. And like you could even they remastered the original, because I think it was like Leisure Suit Larry and the Lounge Lizards or something. They did a bunch of them. But the fourth one was one where you go to basically like a Hawaiian or like Polynesian island. You're stuck there. And the way the game operated was it had like a DRM, but for content. So it had a content filter, and the way you were able to unlock the nudity in the game was you had to answer a Q&A, like an adult themed Q&A. Like if you could answer the right questions, it would unlock titties.
Oh,
right. And so like I would, my stepdad had it. I wasn't allowed to play him. So I wasn't allowed to like have a save file or whatever. So I'd have to keep like restarting the game and like playing when they were out of town or whatever, or gone for the day. And so I had to keep trying to like guess all the answers in order to be able to like unlock the boobs. Cause the way that it showed you in the beginning of the game, I'm not even making this up. Like Larry gets to the island and he's like looking through binoculars and he looks across like the hotel to another window and there's a topless woman in the window. And the way the game operates is depending on what level you were able to unlock in regards to the content, the blind would open up a specific amount. So if you did not answer any of the questions correctly, they knew you were clearly underage. So the blinds would be very little, maybe showing the navel. And then from there, it would increase until you answered all the questions. And then after that, you'd see titty. And you're like, that's how you know you got it. When you see titty, you know you got it. You struck gold. This was like the early 90s. This was they were like, this is before the ESA. This is before like all that shit. And it was, or the ESRB. And this is like all before that stuff. It's really funny. The stuff they used to do back then. I love Sierra games. I think they're fantastic. The Police Quest, if they were going to make movies, I mean, they could easily do a King's Quest movie franchise. The stories are great. I mean, you get to like King's Quest 4 and it's basically like the perils of, what's it called? The Perils of Priscilla, I think, or I forget. It's, but anyway, like it's all about the daughter, and like the daughter gets kidnapped and taken into a fairy tale world. And so it does play up a lot of the old fairy tales. But the third game is about the prince. The prince was actually kidnapped as well when he was a kid, and he was raised by a wizard and he wants to escape. So you actually had to like, in the game, you had to have the manual because the manual had recipes like for casting spells. So if you wanted to like get around certain things, you would have to actually like get the ingredients in the game and then craft the spell yourself in order to get out of the castle.
Wow, I just looked this up. There is a new Leisure Suit Larry game that's on the Switch.
I might have to get it.
It's called Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Is there a trailer?
I believe so, yes. It came out in 2020.
What? Okay, Wet Dreams Die Twice, is that it?
No, Don't Dry. Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Okay. I don't know if it's correct because
I come back and I hear Wet Dreams. What is going on?
Yeah, it's according to this, it says Wet Dreams Dry Twice.
That's weird because I looked it up and said Don't Dry.
Oh,
hold on here.
What is going on?
We're talking about Leisure Suit Larry.
Old school. Yeah,
it's an old school Sierra game. Yeah.
This is why, man. These are like, even the Leisure Suit Larry. Like, honest to God, man. If Netflix, this is what I would do if I were Netflix. I would 100% attempt to try and get my hands on the Sierra licenses. I don't know who. No. Fuck.
Microsoft owns them.
Microsoft owns them now. All right. Okay. Can we bully Phil Spencer into actually like making this stuff a reality?
I don't think Sierra. Okay. So 2 things. One, Phil Spencer did say he wants to bring back the Sierra IPs to like make new games out of them, like King's Quest and all that. I don't think Leisure Suit Larry is owned by Sierra anymore, though. I think
probably not. Probably not, because this is the trailer here. Let's take a look at this. It's from Creative Europe Media. Oh my God.
The Russians made it.
Oh, Faith, I wish you were here.
Your location and an encrypted backup of your entire PiPhone, including private data, are being sent to Larry Laffer.
Larry?
Yes?
Let the delivery guys in.
That's not the doorbell.
Wow.
The signal's coming from Faith's PiPhone.
This is the PiPhone from a Miss Faithless. Proceed to its source immediately and investigate the situation. Oh, this is where I found that yellow liquid. Oh, what are you playing?
Fortnite.
I have to find Faith. Who are you?
No, Dr. No.
Thank you for choosing Meadowtron.
Could you by chance be a pervert?
All right.
Okay, now that makes a whole lot of sense, like why it's called that.
Yeah. Larry's coming October 15th to PC and Mac. And I guess now it's on the Nintendo Switch.
I think so, yes.
That is amazing, and I love it. I need to check that out. But it does feel like a Leisure Suit Larry game.
Yes.
And that's the thing is, though, like, I love the old Sierra games. Those are a lot of fun. And that would be really, really, really funny. Let's see here. Hans says, I didn't think my faith in humanity could get any lower than it was, but Jarbo found a way to lower it even more. Congrats. Well, this is Hollywood After Dark, buddy. The fuck you expect? This is not like this ain't, you know, this ain't your daddy's Hollywood show.
Hollywood,
yeah.
Pop culture.
If you're looking for
reading my Lord of the Rings book,
yeah, if you're looking for a more wholesome experience, be sure to you can head over to some competitors that are around as well, and not get the same kind of content you get here. But anyway.
Movie topics.
Anyway, moving on. We spent a lot of time talking about other stuff here, but let's move on to something a little bit somber, a little bit sad, and that, of course, is finding out today Bob Saget's cause of death is revealed. This was one that has been hotly speculated over for the last couple of weeks. Ever since it happened, a lot of people were curious. Was it drug-related? Was it alcohol-related? Substance abuse problems? A heart attack? You know, what was he doing in order to die so suddenly? And we found out that it's just a head trauma.
Wow.
Which, I mean, is like, this is going to sound kind of weird because Bob Saget is seen as a very wholesome guy. You know, so like that's the whole thing. His comedy is really dirty, but like he's always been known as being really wholesome. So I thought he might have been up to something a bit on the depraved side. It would have made sense. Like I would, if we were to find out that like he died while like ODing on an 8-ball of fentanyl laced crack, hanging out with like 3 midget strippers while being pegged with a strap on, I'd be like, that makes sense. Like right. I can see it happening because like
he's had that party life before. He's had that, you know.
Well, he's just that level of like, you know, his humor is like that. Like you would find it to be a bit on the comic side, but you know, this is not like that. This is like a very wholesome way to unfortunately pass away because he hit his head and then he went to sleep and that's what did it. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation.
If I may ask, how does that happen though? I mean, if you get hit in the head that bad where your brain's bleeding, like, maybe this is me being very naive. I mean, how would you just not notice it? Would it just would you feel like normal? I mean, I'm just curious how something that would happen.
Well, so it's, I mean, the older you get, it can have a greater impact on you. And we don't know the specifics of what he hit or how he hit, but it seems that he hit his head pretty hard, thought nothing of it, and then went to sleep. And if he hit it harder than he thought, and he wasn't thinking about potentially having a concussion or a head injury, a brain bleed or whatever, and he just went to bed, then thinking, I'll just sleep it off, it will be fine. That was a mistake. And that's a common mistake. But head injuries also have a way of altering our perception. Not to go dark, because we are trying to make this a bit of a livelier show, and this is a kind of a dark topic to start off with. But my best friend, his sister-in-law, former sister-in-law, at one point in time, she was normal. She was like one of the sweetest people we ever knew. Surprised that she was with his brother, but she was very sweet. She fell in the tub and hit her head. It changed her. It changed her. She, after that, was not the same. She was way more erratic, way more aggressive. She got into an altercation with my friend's mother, attacked her one day, and then ultimately ended up like divorcing my friend's brother, abandoning her 2 kids, and then taking off into the unknown. We only found out a little while later that she had passed away.
Oh, wow.
And that's all from just hitting her head and it completely altering her personality.
Well, because I mean, the brain. I mean, it's there's so much about the brain. It's just insane to think about. I mean, again, it controls your behavior, your emotional state, like your thoughts and cognitive abilities. I mean, it's insane to think about how just like one small hit to the head could fundamentally change you as a person.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, people like to joke about like, you know, helmets and things like that. No, they're very important to wear. They are absolutely very important to wear. And so that's just the thing there to consider is when you look at the idea of this whole scenario and you look at what's going on, it's like, if you have a head injury, don't go to bed. If you are by yourself, you should 100% go and get checked out somewhere. Wait a couple hours if possible.
Even if you don't think it's a big deal. Even if you don't think it did, like, oh, I just hit my head slightly, it's probably not a big deal. I'm probably fine. Just get checked out. just be careful.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, Tony here brings up Liam Neeson's wife actually died due to a brain bleed after hitting her head. That's right. I believe Sonny Bono of Sonny and Cher also died because he was in a skiing accident where he did hit his head while he was skiing. And I know that's also what happened to Liam Neeson's wife, Natasha. It's Natasha something or another. Richardson, I think was her name.
I mean, this happens so often too. It's like you don't think that you're that hurt or it's that big a deal until it's too late sometimes. Because, oftentimes you're just in that shock when something happens. You're like, oh, I'm fine. It's not that big a deal. Like, I feel fine. I'm like, it hasn't hit you yet,
Oh yeah. No, very true. Very true. That's just, that's that. So anyway, just wanted to say, rip
sad.
Bob Saget. It's very sad. Head injuries are nothing to worry, not nothing to worry about, nothing to tread lightly over. And, if you ever find yourself getting hit in the head, don't just go to sleep. I was in a bicycle accident when I was a kid, and I hit my head really hard on the ground. And I was really sleepy. My mom was like, do not fall asleep. She had to keep me awake for a long while because they had to take me to the doctor, get me checked out and everything else. So, there's that. Matt here says the Moon Knight actor who died, that happened to him as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The guy who just passed away last week, I believe.
Oh, wow. Very sad situation.
Head injuries happen. So if anything, this is just like a PSA. Like if you're on a bicycle or a motorcycle or a skateboard or rollerblades, wear a helmet, and,
I mean, someone mentioned this earlier, like, like the, on the airplane, the overhead compartment, some people get hit on the head on that and have gotten seriously injured as well.
Yeah. I mean, H-Bart's here says, Chris Benoit had CTE, which makes him insane.
Oh yeah. Chris Benoit, the
Benoit. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing in terms of because all those CTEs. Speaking to your point, just changed him as a person. And when Eddie Guerrero passed away from a heart attack in his hotel room, he was just fundamentally so depressed about it. Just changed him as it's a brilliant documentary, Jarbo. I know you're not really into wrestling, but if you ever get a chance, watch the Dark Side of the Ring special. It's a 2-part documentary on the death of Chris Benoit. It's very sad and tough to get through, but it's also very powerful at the end in terms of like his son, because one of his sons did survive because he wasn't. It's a whole thing. I don't want to spoil it, but like it's very sad. It's a very sad state of affairs. Honestly, it's tough.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why when I talk about football, I mean, look, Aaron Hernandez had severe CTE, and look what he did, and he was a football player. There's a lot that goes on to this, but it never, you can talk about it with wrestling, right? You can talk about it with wrestling. They'll never talk about it directly with football. They'll never do it. The NFL, they cover all that shit up, man. In my opinion, they cover all it up. I mean, we all know it's bad. But then everyone out there is like, the Super Bowl this weekend, you guys. The fucking Super Bowl.
Well,
and
yeah, I mean, they have tried making change. I mean, in the wrestling industry, especially, they've changed a lot. They've tried their best to address that stuff. When it comes to CTs and better protecting the talent, obviously it's not 100% perfect, but it has gotten better. Football, obviously, they've done rule changes and they tried doing other stuff to try and combat the head injury stuff. Obviously, there's more work to be done to protect athletes just around the globe, honestly. So.
I don't know, my take is cancel football, like end it. But that's me. You know what? If you want people to kill themselves, then let's go back to the actual Coliseum shit. Like that's like, might as well be more bang for your buck, I guess. It's just that kind of thing. And then Anthony here says, after watching Jackass 4, I'm shocked those guys don't have severe injuries from all the shit they do. Oh no, they do. They took as much precaution as they could the older they've gotten. But they definitely they have a lot of injuries and whatnot. I have a feeling Bam Margera probably has gone as insane as he has. And as a result from his drug use, and probably also, in a way that can maybe to painkill the physical pain that he's in.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I know
the reason why they didn't include him in the new one. And it's also one because of the substance abuse issues, but also probably because of other stuff that they probably don't want to disclose.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And then Kazra here. Well, there's also I think like a lawsuit going on too. It says no mat football rules. Here's the thing, man. You may like the sport, but let's not do away with the understanding of how it fucks up and hurts the players. All right, because these are people who play football and suffer injuries from a young age, all the way through elementary school to middle school to high school to college and maybe into the actual pro league or or like the minor whatever. Is there a minor league for football?
I'm a casual sports fan. I know a lot. I don't know that level. I don't think
okay. So I know there's the minors in baseball, but I don't think
yeah.
But think of it like this: when you spend your entire life and you play
college football, there's college. It's about
I said college. I did say college. That would make sense for being minor league, yeah. But when you play football for your entire life, you're going to get you're going to get knocked around a lot. You're probably going to get a couple concussions. Think about how much damage that is doing to your brain, to your body over the span of literal decades. And then people are like, well, I just like to see it happen. I'm sorry. You can like football all you want, but acknowledge the fact that you're kind of like selfish in regards to like the suffering of humans as a result of this. That's all I'm saying on that, man. Like, look, you like it all you want. I'm not a fan of that shit. I agree. With Hans, he says here, what pisses me off most is how everyone wants to say protect football players. Well, I almost break a bone or fuck myself up at work daily, and no one ever talks about it with warehouse workers. You're 100% right, man. But you're 100% right. This is why you guys need unions. This is why I don't know if you work for Amazon or not. I know the Amazon spent a lot of money union busting what happened in I think Alabama, and I live here in Washington where Amazon is like headquartered, and no one ever talks about that here. But that's the thing too. There's got to be a lot of worker. There's got to be massive strikes, dude. Like that's where it's going to be at here. And Castro, no, that doesn't happen in all sports, dude. People don't get frequently cracked in the head while playing baseball or basketball.
I mean, you get ligament or muscle injuries, not traumatic brain injuries.
Yeah, same. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff there. And Andrew here says you can thrash your brain scuba diving or mountain climbing. Contact sports are a risky endeavor, but there are plenty of ways to incur mileage on your brain. Sure. But at the same time, it's like, those conversations never come up, right? Those conversations never come up in the mainstream because no one ever cares about it as a whole. They just don't. I'm sorry. Jarbo, the unions are all corrupt as fuck around here, like really corrupt. Then start a new union, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you want support, you're not going to get it like by bitching about it on a chat. I'm just saying that, like, and I support you in wanting to get the protections you deserve as a worker. What I mean by that is like start a new union, reach out to one that's not corrupt and try to get it built in your area. It takes time, but it can be done, So there's that. Anyway, this is kind of an off topic.
I was not expecting to have this kind of conversation about unions and corruption.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah. But no, it's
a good conversation. It's a good conversation.
Yeah,
it's important.
It impacts our society. It impacts our society, and there's
a lot more that can be done to support workers, athletes, and just people in general, especially when it comes to injuries, and in particular when it comes to brain head trauma, especially. So,
Andrew here says there have been documented cases of CTE in baseball. Well, then I'm cool with shutting that down too. Like I'm fine with that. Professional sports mean very little to me, so that's the way I see it. They mean very little to me in general. Now, if you want to shut down the MCU, motherfucker, we'll talk. But I will also say this though: the Academy Awards fucked up again by not including stunt work. Makeup you can get an Oscar nom. Wardrobe you can get a costume design an Oscar nom. But God forbid the stunt actors who some have been killed or paralyzed or worse, they don't get the recognition that they deserve. The VFX departments that might get nominated may ultimately not find themselves in a position to where they're going to be respected on that way. It's like financially speaking. Yeah. So there's a lot of corruption in a lot of industries is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think Hans, to your point, Jarbo, he does agree with you. He gets where you're coming from. So,
yeah. But anyway, Shogun here. Thank you, man. It says, I wondered in a reverse psychology way, if they gave them less pads in football, then players wouldn't hit them as hard. I know, stupid. I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest with you. I think they I see the reverse psychology point you're going for here. It's not that I feel like they need to go like flag football or touch football. But I believe like, doesn't the XFL do it a slightly different way?
Yeah, the XFL is kind of dead though.
Well, The Rock owns it, so
Yeah, they're gonna bring it back eventually. But
the biggest movie star in the world, you guys,
get him out.
owns the XFL. See what happens with that. But all right, why don't we move on to the next subject here? This is a happier, more jovial subject overall.
Except for one potential problem.
And I believe that potential problem has kind of sorted itself out, to be fair. So, but anyway, what we found out here is Futurama revival ordered at Hulu with multiple original cast members.
Remember when we were talking about the King of the Hill revival? I'm like, they should bring back Futurama again. And we're like, nah, that would never happen.
No, well, because I mean, they ended it. They ended it pretty well. They ended Futurama pretty well.
So they ended it very well, like 3 other times though.
That is true. That is very true. And I love Futurama. I think it's, I remember, watching The Simpsons when it premiered back in, I think 89 or 88 on Fox or whatever, maybe 89. Like when the Simpsons Christmas first premiered, that first episode, and still to this day, my all time favorite episode of The Simpsons is season 1, episode 3, Bart the General, which if you've never seen Bart the General, it's a fantastic episode. And it puts Bart against Nelson. But Bart raises an army to fight back against Nelson and the bullies.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
it's such a great episode. It holds up like 30 years later. But the idea here, though, is that Futurama was like, I remember when this premiered back in 1999. So it's been over 20 years. And I remember watching it on my little 13-inch TV going like, oh man, this is great. Like, this is just hysterical. And rewatching
I will never forget I think the first episode of Futurama I ever watched was actually my dad and uncle, because they were big fans. The first episode of Futurama I ever saw was the Roswell, New Mexico episode.
Roswell that ends well?
Yeah, Roswell that ends well, yes.
Where he has sex with his own grandmother?
Oh, I thought that was hilarious. Even as a kid, I was like, what the hell?
What's funny is you laugh about that now, but again, go to the front page of Pornhub.com. Yeah, I'm just saying there's a through line. We have now determined the impetus of the taboo MILF step parent, step sibling fantasy that happens in Pornhub. It all goes back to Roswell that ends well. We've solved the mystery. We've cracked the code. That's it right there. Anyway, no, that's the first one you saw?
That was the very first episode.
Oh man, that's a great episode. Have you ever cried at a Futurama episode?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Was it the dog one with the dog?
It was the dog one and the Lucky Clover episode.
Oh my, the Lucky one, dude. Oh my God, the Lucky Clover, that gets me more than the dog one, right?
They're both beautiful episodes.
They're great episodes, but oh my God, like just that, like the ending of that where he's like Yancey this, Yancey that, I hate Yancey, and then you find out at the end like he was named after his uncle who disappeared, and you're just like, oh. Or I'll wait for you, Fry. It's that like the thing is, as much as I love The Simpsons, it's never made me cry. Like never made me cry.
The one episode of Simpsons that's really tugged on the heartstrings was the episode about Homer's mom, where he just sits on top of the car.
Yeah. Glenn Close knocked that out of the park as his mom.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And that was a really solid episode too, when they got into the emotion. I mean, I think Simpsons around that time period, at least up to like season 10 or 11 is peak Simpsons. Past that, I don't even know. I haven't even watched, but I need to sit down and actually start diving into every episode. Yeah. But there's so much greatness about Futurama. I mean, not only with the character of Fry, but just with like the other characters,
Yeah, so many. Zoidberg, always a favorite. Zoidberg.
I love Zoidberg. Obviously, everyone loves Bender. Bender's like he's like the fan favorite. But you look at like Leela, and then even Professor Farnsworth. Like how he just always starts off every episode with "Good news, everyone! You're going to die."
No, one of the funniest things is Bender and what's her name hooked up, and they start kissing in front of the professor. He checks his pulse. It's like, I'm so glad I didn't live to see the day a robot and a human got together. He checks his pulse and it beats.
Oh, when he hooks up with Amy, right? Is when he hooks up with Amy.
Yeah.
Amy got around. Like when she hooked up with Kip.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
but they kind of kept their relationship going for a while. They kind of like, I think they stayed together for a while.
Yeah.
Or no, is it not Kip? It's is it Kip?
No, I think it's Kip.
Kip. It's been a while.
Zack Brannigan too.
Zack Brannigan. What I love about Zack Brannigan, and this is the thing, Zack Brannigan was written for Phil Hartman. Because it, like, whoever does the voice of Zack Brannigan, who I forget right now. See, this is the thing, man. If you are, again, like, this is before your time. Is Phil Hartman was like, Troy McClure on The Simpsons, Lionel Hutz, he did a few voices on the show. He was big into that world. And then me, who grew up, watching like SNL in the 90s and watching like House Guest and watching, like Small Soldiers and other things like that, loved Phil Hartman, right? Absolutely loved Phil Hartman as an actor.
Yeah. By the way, it's Kiff, not Kip.
Kiff. Thank you. It's been a couple years since I've watched it, so my brain's a little foggy on some of the character names. But when Phil Hartman was killed, and he was killed by his wife in like a cocaine-fueled rage.
Wait, what?
So Phil Hartman.
I never knew this.
Phil Hartman died, I believe, in 1998, and like it was like June or July 1998. Maybe it was May. It was in the summertime around that time, because I remember I just got my driver's license and I was driving home when I heard it on the radio. His wife had gone insane, grabbed a gun, got the two kids out of the house effectively, if I recall, but then shot him. They got into an argument. She shot him and then she shot herself.
Jesus.
And it shocked, dude. It shocked people. Like
that's horrible. Why did she do it?
She was fucking nuts. She was on drugs. She was fucking insane.
Oh, she was drugged out.
Oh yeah, totally. When I say she was on like a coke fueled rage, like I mean that literally. She was on like a coke fueled rage. And that rocked everything. Like SNL felt it. There was a show called News Radio that Phil Hartman was on at the time with Joe Rogan, oddly enough. And they felt it on that one. And like, it sent ripples through everything. And then, here it is like the next year, here comes Futurama, and they bring in this character, Zack Brannigan, and it's literally like Phil Hartman incarnate. You could tell, and I don't know if this is true. I've never like met Matt Groening, so I've never been able to ask him. But like Phil Hartman, was going to play this character. He was going to voice this fucking character. And because it sounds so identical to him. Like, just go look at old, like, Troy McClure clips from The Simpsons.
I love Troy McClure. Every time
put him against Zack Brannigan, and it's the same character, like literally. But I mean, and whoever does it wonderfully, and I'm in no way throwing shade at them. But for me, it's always been like, man, what if Phil Hartman would have been voicing that role? That would have been great.
Yeah.
I just suck at this. I haven't thought about his death in a long time, and that bums me the hell. Like, same with Bob Saget. It's like, just these
when legends like this pass away. And that's tragic circumstances too.
Oh yeah. Like, Phil Hartman was great. Like, if you ever want to see a funny bit with him, look up the anal retentive chef on SNL. Look, you can find the clip of it online. I would play it, but they would block it because they do that shit, unfortunately. Or Caveman Lawyer was another one that he did that was really good. He's like, Your Honor, I'm just a simple caveman that was frozen in ice and carried through time. And he's a caveman, but he's a lawyer. It's so stupid, but Phil Hartman sold it. He sold it in everything that he did. Anyway, let's talk more about this here. So we're still talking about Futurama for a while, but we know here this was going on. So Variety has learned that Hulu has ordered 20 new episodes. The revival hails from David X. Cohen and Matt Groening. Cohen did develop the original series with Groening. We know here that Billy West, Katie Seagal, Tress MacNeille, who is, by the way, a national fucking treasure, so is Maurice LaMarche, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, and David Herman will all return. DiMaggio, who voiced Bender and several other minor characters, is like Scruffy.
Yeah.
Like Scruffy. Fucking Scruffy. You can't forget about Scruffy. Mm-hmm. Is not currently attached. According to individual knowledge of the project, the producers are hopeful that DiMaggio will return. Should that not happen, Bender will be recast.
That should not be an option.
That's not an option. You write him out. And even then, you don't even do it. Without Bender.
If you Bender, and I said this on Max's stream, Bender is such an important character. You can't do Futurama without Bender. You can't do it without John DiMaggio. I know you brought up Katie Seagal. She's important too. Don't get me wrong, but Bender was my character. That was my character on Futurama.
Well, that's a lot of people's characters, to be honest with you. Like that's a lot of people's characters with that is Bender. Everyone always loves that. But for me, it's like I grew up watching Married with Children. So, Peg Bundy, Katie Seagal is a big thing. And then, like her being in that show was kind of crazy at the time. There's another show you could find. I think it's on Hulu. You can find the PJs. It came out around the same time. The PJs is short for the Projects. It is a stop motion claymation show about a Black community project.
Oh yeah, you told me about that
with Eddie Murphy, Eddie Murphy in it. Yeah,
Eddie Murphy show. Yeah,
it's it's great. Anyway, Degrassi here. Like look at this right here. Bam, maybe they'll bring the PJs back. Right.
Hey,
maybe they'll bring the PJs back. Who do we have to bully?
What network was that?
That was on Fox. Fox.
Yeah, so that'd be a Hulu thing. Yeah,
it might be on Hulu. Yeah, I think you can Google it, man.
By the way, are you surprised that this is on Hulu and not like Comedy Central or Paramount Plus?
No, because Fox that portion of the Fox Entertainment assets are now owned by Disney.
Oh, that's true. They do own it. Yeah.
So what I would think though is now here's the question though: will Hulu? And I don't know if they have them right now. I haven't looked, but will Hulu get the movies, the 4 films, and also the revival? I think the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons, whatever ones that they did, because those were all commissioned through Comedy Central. So I don't know.
I would pay the money to get it all on there.
I don't know.
If it's a payment thing and they have to like get the rights, I would just buy it. And just get them all.
Well, Barrel Bob here makes a point. He says here, he's like, how about instead just don't make the series? I feel like there's not much more to say after 4 movies and the Comedy Central continuation. I personally think that following the last 4 years of Donald Trump, that there's a lot that they can say on a comedic political style way of thinking things.
Here's the thing. Are they bringing it back because of money and because Hulu needs content and Disney wants to mine an adult cartoon property? Absolutely. Do I trust that the people behind it have a story they want to tell in 20 episodes and maybe more? Yes, I do. So I'm not worried about it. And again, it could take place before the actual series finale anyway. It could be like stories before that series finale. The stories could be at any time period too. That is very true. Yeah, you could do with this.
There's a lot they could easily do with that there. Now, the Watcher here says, can you compare Futurama humor to something since I've never seen it? Is it anything like Family Guy?
Not even close to Family Guy.
So I like Family Guy. All right, I do. I think American Dad is.
Yeah, but it's very specific.
I think American Dad is a better show. But I will say this: I think Futurama is kind of highbrow comedy. It's very lowbrow in some aspects, but it's highbrow compared to Family Guy. Family Guy does a lot of pot shots and does a lot of quick cutaway humor. There's no quick cutaways on Futurama like that. With Futurama, it has a lot to do with the storytelling and just like the world building and how the crazier stuff is just accepted in the future. Like the crazier things that we would all kind of laugh at are all like. It all just becomes accepted.
Even in the first episode, it's not really, it's just one of the funny things in that first episode. There's a suicide booth. You just pay money to commit suicide,
Yeah, right. And then Bender still uses the fake coin to try to get it for free.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, it's Bender for you. Or like the episode where Fry goes and he finds his old stuff, right? And he finds a can of anchovies. And it's worth because there's no more anchovies. And so it's worth billions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
And he still chooses, but he still chooses the anchovies over the money, it's just, and they have Mom. Oh my God. I love all the Mom arcs with Tress MacNeille as Mom. She's great because she's just like an evil businesswoman, but everyone thinks she's this lovely person. All the robot stuff, all the craziness that happens. There's the episode where Bender gets lost in space. And a meteorite hits his ass and it ends up spawning, an entire ecosystem, of these little weird creatures that come to life. They evolve over time. And Bender's just okay, I'm their God. And the whole episode is about God. It's about what God might be. and even ending with Bender finding a deity that could be God. I mean, it's just like there's so many weird areas that they take the show, but they never come like even when they went to Comedy Central, they were told by the guys at Comedy Central, like we allow way more crazy things to happen here. You guys can go further with it if you want. You can go raunchier, and they chose not to. They chose to not do it because they didn't want to sacrifice the integrity of the show. So that's the thing with Futurama that's great is it's always been more highbrow comedy. And it works. But with a sci-fi bent. I will say this though, it's look, I like Disenchantment, but Disenchantment is not Matt Groening's best work. I didn't see part 3, and I know part 4 just got a new trailer. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's move on here. So they got this little bit right now. Okay, so DiMaggio did not initially make a statement about the revival, but he did retweet a bunch of posts that expressed desire for him to return. He says here, thanks for the concern and props, everyone. I really appreciate it. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted. But until then, cheese it. #Bendergate.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why do you think he did that? There's a contractual dispute going on. Is it the money? What is it?
I think it's the money. Yeah, I think it's the money. It could also be like residuals for after the fact. That's a big thing right now with the streaming world is the streaming world, when it comes to like the residuals, for Futurama, they've been on, remember it was what revived both Family Guy and Futurama was that block on Adult Swim, the 11 to midnight block. It was Family Guy and then it was Futurama, and the popularity of Adult Swim in that hour brought it back in a couple of years. And so there's residuals that all the cast got as a result of that. When they got paid to go back onto Comedy Central to do Beast with a Billion Backs and the, all the other ones that they did, or Bender's Big Score and what was it? Into the Wild Green Yonder, I think was the last one. I forget the third one, but they did all these and they got their money. They got their residuals because they aired on TV. When they did the new seasons, they got their residuals because it aired on TV, and also home video sales. This won't have home video sales. This is just going to be straight up on Hulu, meaning that they're going to get paid all that money up front with no residuals. Keep in mind, we're getting closer again to another writer strike and another SAG strike when it comes to getting the residuals off of streaming, especially after 2021. So I think that's the biggest thing right now. He's trying to negotiate for a bigger payday and you know what? He deserves it. Every one of those cast members absolutely deserves a bigger payday. If you're going to bring it back, you pay him because they're worth it in my mind.
Yeah, no, he's worth it. Like, just go for it, dude. Like, just bring him back, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely like, I think he understands what's going to be happening. I don't think that there's going to be like, I don't think that there's going to be a problem with that. Like he'll be back, but this is just a negotiation phase.
You think he will come back though? You don't think there's any chance they recast?
No, I think he'll absolutely. Would you want to be there if they went to go recast Bender?
No, be a disaster. I don't think you can recast him.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I mean, like they definitely. I don't know if my next hold on, let me double check.
Okay, we lost Matt.
No, I hit the wrong button here. I just want to see here if okay, I did not. All right, I did not do it. So this is to show you guys though how effed up things were, because I did grab a screenshot, but of course I just did not put it on the thing. When they made the announcement today, they did probably the stupidest thing they could do. And that was this. They put this image out. We're back, baby, with Bender without John DiMaggio being signed on at the time to do it.
Yeah, because Bender's the flagship character, though. I mean, it makes sense, but I think this fueled the fan demand. It's like, you better goddamn get John DiMaggio back, or else, you got to bring him back, man. You
absolutely have to. I mean, Bender is part of it. Fry and Bender's friendship is part of the, is like the impetus of the show. Also, Fry and Leela's relationship is another major emotional part of the show.
Do you think though they did that as like a FU to like John DiMaggio though, where it's like, hey, you better just agree to our terms, or else we're all gonna look like assholes, basically.
I think it was kind of one of those things where it's like I think they did it to kind of nudge him towards the bargaining table. You know what I mean? Like, because it's kind of like, you know, he's negotiating through the trades they probably reached out for comment, and you know, he was like, someone said with, you know, some insider said with ties to it that like they're working on making a deal. He's out there retweeting a bunch of it better be Bender, it better, you know, better be John posts. And then he's like, don't worry about it. We're going to figure it out. And obviously they're working towards a deal. You know, I wouldn't be surprised
I think they're going to sign something.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. Now, is it just going to be 20 episodes? I don't think so. I think that's just going to be one season. Probably 2 parts. They're probably going to be 2 parts, like 10 episodes now, 10 episodes down the road sort of thing. But I could see them doing this thing for a while. Honest to God, at this point, I think Futurama with the right writers could have lasted longer than The Simpsons. I feel The Simpsons have gotten very stale in their approach to a lot of stuff, but Futurama is rife for satire. And they can mine so much stuff for many years. Like, remember during the revival on Comedy Central when they did the episode about Proposition Infinity?
Oh yeah.
And do you know what that was? Do you know what that was satirizing?
Can't say I remember now.
It was Prop 8 in California, which was about gay rights.
Oh, okay.
And so they called it, because infinity, the symbol for infinity is just an 8 on its side. So they were, you know, showing their support and kind of like mocking the situation from like the other side of it. So like they have their fingers on the pulse of what's going on, and the writers are very clever. And that's what I'd like to see. Go on. So anyway, a lot about there. Also, what about Zoidberg? Everyone forgets about Zoidberg.
Zoidberg's back. Everyone's back.
Zoidberg, yeah, he's gonna be back, dude. Gary B here says Futurama is overrated. Whatever, dude. That is a bad take.
You know what's overrated? The word overrated. It's so often misused.
All right, Prop 8 was the opposite of Garrett's. That's right. They were making fun of that. Thank you. I was in California at the time. I just don't fully remember. So yeah, and then Dalton here asks, will it pick up where the show ended? That I don't know.
We don't know yet.
That I can't tell you if it will pick up when the show ended. I'm hoping that it will, but who knows if that's going to be the case or not. Let's see here. Degrassi says, I'm looking forward to the Venture Bros specials on HBO Max. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Anything with more Venture Bros is going to be great too, man. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So why don't we move on to the next thing? This is the big one of the day. This is one of the big ones, at least. And that, of course, is Kenobi. Bam.
Yeah.
Bam. And I feel they had to do this after last night's lackluster Book of Boba Fett finale. It wasn't lackluster, but it didn't blow my skirt up.
To be fair, though, all of this, the Futurama thing and this, are part of the Disney investors call, which is why they announced a bunch of stuff today. So
okay.
It was just timing. Although, to be fair, it's good timing on their behalf. So
it is. It's kind of distracting people from talking about the Book of Boba Fett.
This blew up social media, by the way. This show is the most anticipated show of the year.
This is like No Way Home type of hype.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel the energy for it.
I'm so ready for this. I love it.
Well,
although that concerns me, because with so much hype, I just hope it's not disappointing in any aspect. I don't think it will be, though.
No. I don't.
Directing it.
No, Rodriguez is not directing it. And I feel bad because
Chow coming back after Mando season 1.
Yeah, that's right. But the thing with Deborah Chow, though, is she's doing all the episodes, so it's all under one singular director, and probably different writers. But like, again, you have your showrunner, and then you've got your singular director, and then you've got everything else. And I think that's going to do really well, because that's the thing. I think, let's say the Book of Boba Fett, if that would have been all directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, it would have been a much different experience.
Oh, it would have been.
Or if it would have been all directed by Kevin Tarchonet or Dave Filoni, because his episode was really good too. You know, like, well, Filoni's going to do a lot, I believe, with Ahsoka. I think Filoni is going to be like,
Filoni show is Ahsoka. That's
I think he's I think he's going to do all the episodes for that.
Like created it,
So I think there's a lot that's going to go in here, but this is what we know. It comes out on May 25th, which is also the same day that Star Wars was released in theaters back in 1977. Yeah. So this is 45 years.
Are you surprised it's not May the 4th?
No, I'm not surprised it's not May the 4th. I'm not surprised it's not May the 4th. I think this is what they've been. Well, you have to understand, they've been wanting to claim the Memorial Day weekend spot for something with Star Wars since they brought it back. I'm not even making that up.
Disney has no movie releasing this Memorial Day, so it's basically
none of that.
Movie.
That doesn't fucking matter either. I heard that on Grace's video, and that's one of the weirdest takes ever. That doesn't matter.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that they plugged it in because this is a great week to release it. Because like there's something else really coming. I mean, not that it matters. I'm just saying like, because if they would have released this on May the 4th, that coincides with Moon Knight's finale and Doctor Strange too. So,
which would have no impact on anything because it's week-to-week releases. So them releasing
the same thing, but they made Hawkeye drop 2 episodes at once, not to coincide with Book of Boba Fett.
Well, that was only freaking, but that was also coinciding with the end of the year because they were backed into a corner because they wanted to tie in Hawkeye with No Way Home. Yeah. So there was that, but then you also had like they wanted to get Book of Boba Fett out before the end of the year. So that's the other side of it. So again, but this is just streaming site. You know, this is that was Disney Plus versus Disney Plus. Moon Knight versus May the 4th. Again, Disney Plus versus Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But actually impacting the theatrical, dude. Okay, do you remember back? You probably don't, but like back in 2016, Daredevil season 2, I think opened like the week before Batman v Superman.
It was the week of.
The week of, right? Okay, yeah, the week of, and everyone was freaking the fuck out. And you know what?
Actually, the same day.
Yeah, well, it was Thursday night for the BVS and whatever. But the whole point, though, is that Daredevil season 2 has been critically lauded ever since it came out and beloved ever since it came out. And people still went to go see BVS $180 million opening weekend. It literally had no impact. The two worlds don't work like that. They don't collide like that. And so it's not even an issue. So I think that whole thing there about like, well, it can't be against the movie. No, it's not going to mean anything.
Well, I don't think it means anything, but I think they like spacing things out just a little bit to where everyone talks about one thing at a time. I mean, I'm not saying it's a big deal. What I'm trying to say is like they like spacing stuff out, so you always have something to look forward to and talk about. I think that's the way they look at it. They want to have maximum impact.
It doesn't matter. It's Kenobi.
No, it is. I agree.
And you could release Kenobi on like the middle of like September. And people would still fucking flock to it.
Dude,
it doesn't matter.
Come out
the show could come out whenever.
Weird time.
Yeah. Well, no, because that's the thing. Release dates mean nothing anymore. Release dates mean nothing. They used to mean something. You know, it used to be the big thing of like coming first week of May, the first summer movie of the season. You know, and then now it's like it's coming the first week of March, or maybe the middle of February, or it could be the end of April. Who fucking knows? It doesn't matter. You've had billion-dollar releases that have come out of fucking February.
No, I agree.
And it's not just like Black Panther.
Value of the property of the
it is. I mean, dude, even 50 Shades of Grey dropped Valentine's Day weekend 2015, and that went on to go do over $500 million in the first week, I think. Right? Like, it did a lot worldwide. Yeah, I think maybe total. But then you had like Kingsman, the first Kingsman opened at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, and that did like over 400 million and whatnot, a lot of it in South Korea. But there's so much, like none of it matters anymore. I'm so tired there. Yeah. And then, hold on real quick here. H-Barts, I did see it, buddy. I was going to wait to get to it. I'm sorry, man. He does say here, why was Cad Bane auto-tuned when he died?
I noticed that watching it again, yeah.
And then Rip auto-tuned Cad Bane. I don't know either. All I know is he's not dead.
You know what? That was my dad and my brother's reaction too. Because if we talk about,
we can talk about it towards the end. Yeah, but like, totally I don't think Cad Bane is dead. I think it's a waste.
But what do you think? Yeah, just to get back to what do you think of the poster?
Well, I actually zoomed in on it here to get a good look. I was able to find a nice high res quality copy.
It's Jesus of Nazareth.
It is kind of yeah. It's or Jesus El Tatooine. So that's
I'm just so happy to see Ewan McGregor come back.
Do you think we'll see Liam Neeson kind of coming back maybe Force
Ghost?
No, I think he shot that down. I don't think he's coming back.
I mean,
he should be back, but he
sense the way if they're gonna continue it like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, wasn't Yoda teaching him how to communicate with his old master? So it only makes sense for them to do that. But I don't know. That's just me.
I think it's one of those things where what you're looking at here is a situation, ultimately, where Liam Neeson maybe doesn't want to come back, and that's fine because it's been a long time. He did his voice was used, I think, in
Clone Wars.
In Clone Wars, but there wasn't. I don't know.
You could do a voice cameo. I think.
Maybe,
cameo
yeah, sure. I mean, right around that same time, he was voicing Aslan in fucking, Chronicles of Narnia. But then also, here's a bit more of a close-up look here from the.
So you're not disappointed. So you're not disappointed that he's not wielding a lightsaber or using his swagger and all that.
What's in his hand right there?
A lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Grace's criticism made no sense then.
Grace is a moron. We have determined.
Dude, that's legit
Grace,
a lightsaber.
Look, Grace is
by the way, for the context, she did not like the poster. She said she hated it because he wasn't wielding and swinging around a lightsaber, and he didn't look like he had the swagger that he did in the prequels. I'm like, he's a desert hermit. That's the point.
He's also Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's never been about swagger.
Mace Grandolph needs to stop. Mace Grandolph, hashtag stop Mace Grandolph. But no, it's like, look, you look at that. This looks fine to me. This looks more like Joel Edgerton actually than it does.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan. It looks a little bit like Joel Edgerton. But here's the thing, right? After I saw that there's another article I came across. Actually, here I pulled this real quick from Culture Crave, giving us a rundown of what to expect from Kenobi. So what we know so far, that it takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, which is right around the same time as Jedi Fallen Order, and close to Solo, and potentially close to where Andor is going to be. So I think we might spend a little bit of
Rebels.
No, Rebels was like right before A New Hope.
Okay, yeah, that's like 20 years after.
That was like 19. Yeah, that was I think like one or two. Like BBY or something.
Yeah, so you gotta remember they had Obi-Wan towards the end.
Yeah, that's right. My bad.
Yeah, so he was still alive. Yeah. So what we know is the rematch of the century will happen between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. That's going to be. I'm looking forward to that under Deborah Chow's direction. Concept art showed Darth Vader marching on Jedi Temple. That will be very interesting. I think we are going to get a bit of flashback.
We're getting
flashbacks.
What if that's where we get to learn what happened to Grogu? What if that's where we learn how Grogu got away if there's flashbacks to fucking Jedi Temple? Dude, that could be a thing.
I honestly would not complain if we get like 2 solid episodes of him just adjusting and just having flashbacks for the prequels and having hidden.
Honestly, I would not mind. Because how many episodes is this supposed to be?
6. And each an hour.
6. God damn, why can't it be longer than 6?
Yeah, like why are they doing like 6 episodes, 5 episodes? Bro, give me a full ass season. I want a season of this, not 6 episodes. It's like pulling a Game of Thrones on.
I wouldn't mind 6 per se. I'd rather be like 8 to 9 hour long episodes, but whatever. As long as the story fits, I'm fine. If I were to guess, I think that like at least one episode. I think one episode will be a full blown flashback episode because they're like you don't cast Hayden Christensen not to like just be in the dark.
They could throw anyone else.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think Hayden Christensen is going to be, I don't think it's going to be like he'll be in Ahsoka as well. Like I think, so he's not going.
Force Ghost.
Yeah, he's not going to go around. Yeah. He's not going to stop for a while. Well, then Frost Family Takeover here says, isn't Andor getting 12 episodes? Yeah, it is. It is.
That makes no sense to me.
Comparatively speaking, it's like I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're doing over there. I would love to be able to I'd love to ask Kathleen Kennedy.
How can you give Andor 12 episodes, but no one gives a fuck? I want 12 episodes of Obi-Wan. What?
Well, Hans is kind of correct though, in the sense that it doesn't need more than 6 if it could tell the story it needs to tell within that parameter.
Okay, yeah, but true. But I just want
more.
You
could do a simple to me, Jarbo. This Obi-Wan series is basically going to be a 6-hour movie. More so than the other Disney Plus series, to where it's more episodic. This to me feels like it's going to be, because they're calling it a limited series or a limited event series. Yeah, this is going to feel like. I think the point of this that this is meant to feel like a movie, so than what we've gotten before.
Yeah, but if they pull a Book of Boba Fett on this one, it's not gonna go over well. But I think they're gonna look at the feedback to Book of Boba Fett and be like, well, we can't do that again. And
I don't think it will. I think
well, this one's also been gestating. That look, this show was written. It took longer for this show to be written and shot than the Book of Boba Fett did.
Well, right, because it's gone through so many different forms. Originally, it was going to be a movie. If you remember.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It was going to be Rational Skeptic for $5, man. Thank you. It says in the original 1977 novel of Star Wars, it says their last battle was on Mustafar. It doesn't make sense for them to battle again before A New Hope. Well, look, I mean, like,
it's a retcon, but who cares?
You know what? Like, I'm okay.
I don't care.
I'm okay with it. I'm not going to sit there and
though, who says that's to be a physical confrontation? Just saying, just because it's a rematch of the century doesn't mean it has to be a physical confrontation.
What if the rematch of the century is just them, like, you know, like it's Anakin's perspective of the fight scene?
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, or
I don't
it's just
know.
them like having a verbal conversation and bantering. But I mean, look at Obi's.
That would be a Tarantino thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's all like, you know, just like slide on up, you know, and be like, "Sup?"
But like,
Play
look at
some weird
Obi's
music.
packing. The man's packing. He got a
Yeah,
lightsaber.
he's got the lightsaber there. Now, what we also know is that the scenes were filmed with both Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker together, so we are going to get flashbacks.
Most likely, yeah.
And I'm okay, but it's Clone Wars flashbacks. That's going to be all right.
Let's go.
Jedi Hunters will appear. They are saying now that
Grand Inquisitor.
Rupert Friend has been, it might be the Sith Inquisitor. Which
the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels, yeah.
But see, the thing is, like, I think,
why not get Jason Isaacs?
Yeah, why not get Jason Isaacs to voice it? That you got to get that. You got to get that. And then that says starts on Tatooine and goes on a rollicking adventure that includes a watery planet. So like it's gonna start and finish on Tatooine, obviously, and then after that, it's gonna go to different places. And the reality of it is that they have to fucking move away from Tatooine. Like we've got to go to different places. I think
after this show, I'm good leaving Tatooine behind for a little bit.
Oh my god,
Spherical Man here. Oh my god, did you see a sign on my Star Destroyer that says "Dead Jedi Storage"?
No, we don't.
No. Oh my god, I could just imagine like the Emperor saying that to Darth. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you're gonna get me canceled, dude. You're gonna get me canceled.
God. Oh god.
Yeah. So with any luck, we'll get a bit out of that. But there was also an interview that Ewan McGregor gave. And this popped up today on /Film. It says Ewan McGregor promises that the Obi-Wan series will satisfy fans. So take that, Boba Fett.
Nah, come on, man. Boba Fett wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. But people aren't that happy with it.
It also wasn't that great.
I need to watch it again, to be honest with you. I just didn't have the energy today. But this is what it says in an interview. So Ewan says, "Oh my gosh, well, I love playing him again. I mean, it's quite interesting after the experience of making the first 3 films and living through sort of their reception in the world, which wasn't always glowing, I have to say. And then now meeting the generation who we made those films for, the children then, and now people who are in their late teens or early 20s, those people who were kids who we made those films for, they love them. To them, they're their Star Wars films. You know, for us, it was the original films of the 70s, but for them, it was our films, that were their Star Wars.
That's me as well. I fall in that group.
So yeah, you guys do. I'm part of the older audience there, but I still love the prequels. I don't give a shit. So to step back into his shoes again, and now to do a whole series about Obi-Wan Kenobi for those fans, just makes me really happy. So, I mean, like he said something very similar to this before. In fact, he actually may have said this exact line for line before, but he goes on to talk a bit more about the show itself. When saying here, said this was a great experience. Deborah Chow directed all the episodes, and she's really good. She directed a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian, and she's really a great director. She really knows the Star Wars world inside out far more than I do. We just had a great time. I think it's no secret that Hayden Christensen comes back, and we got to play scenes together again as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, and it was just fantastic to work with him again. I'm not going to give away anything else about the storyline, only I think it's really going to satisfy Star Wars fans. I always felt there was a story between episode 3 where I finished playing Obi-Wan in the movies and episode 4 where Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan. The Obi-Wan series writers, Deb and I and everyone think they crafted a very fine storyline. I think people are going to like it. And I mean, like, look, man, like, you know, Ewan is going to hype it up a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. Oh. Like, I have a feeling this is going to be okay. This is
going to be their hot ticket show for Star Wars. This is what's going to really bring back the hype to Star Wars. I mean, the Mando, Ahsoka, all this stuff, but I mean, Obi-Wan's gonna kill it because they're bringing back fan favorite characters, and it's like they're bringing back Darth Vader.
Well,
They
to
have
be
Obi-Wan
fair, they just
Kenobi.
brought back another fan favorite character only to ice them the next episode, which is just like,
But
the
yeah,
hell.
but it's not on the same level. I mean, like I lost my shit.
I
with
was
Cad
fine
Bane.
with that for a number of reasons I'll get into later. But
Yeah,
You and
honestly,
your-
I'm
yeah.
completely fine with Cad Bane rip because it makes sense.
So I don't know what exactly is going to happen with this show. I think it is going to be like a 6-hour movie. I'm really hoping that they broke it up like that they really, this is my thing. It's like they need to start bringing in some experienced showrunners. Like, Favreau was great, but Favreau was also like a film director, and like Mando season 1 and Mando season 2 are very vignetted, where it's like each episode is kind of part of like a larger story, but it's very isolated. Boba Fett wasn't meant to be like that, and they kind of dropped the ball. So not to say that it's terrible. Again, the good outweighs the bad exponentially. And like, as much as I have my criticisms with last night's episode, that Rancor shit was awesome.
Dude, I just they didn't really go with him like crawling across buildings and shit. That was cool. That was cool.
So yeah, I mean, I'm 100% on board with all that stuff. I do want to. I need to see a trailer at this point. It's not that I'm losing my love or luster for Star Wars, because I'm not, but I just want to see a fucking trailer. Like, give me something.
Super Bowl.
No.
I
they're
mean,
not
that
going
would
to do
be
it.
huge. That would be huge.
They might do like a 15-second teaser. It could just be like, it could just like fade on in and just him going, hello there. And then like, that's it. Kenobi coming May 25th.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could drop a trailer in the Super Bowl. I think
I would like a teaser. Just give me a little tease.
Yeah, like a 30-second spot or something.
And then do a trailer.
Something. Yeah.
But I kind of feel like, I don't know. I'm okay with, I think they should do something like that. If they did the hello there and they played into the meme, that would make the internet explode.
Yeah, I mean, they have plenty of time to release multiple trailers. Like, it's months away. So, do a teaser whenever, and then each month release a trailer. Or like maybe 2 in the last month before it comes out. But they have plenty of time to do some really wild marketing. This is just kind of the first launch of it all.
Yeah. we'll have to wait and see here, though. I love this. Spherical Man here says the Rancor was kind of like King Kong with a touch of Cloverfield. It was. Frost here says Jarbo's becoming the bitter old man who just hates everything. No. I love a lot of shit. That's still pretty terrible. But I think I had my hopes a little bit too high. So I got to give it a couple of days to go back in and then watch it again.
I rewatched the episode again tonight. It's okay. It's solid.
It's okay, but I yelled at the screen a lot because I was just like, I don't want to like go on a rant, but like there's a lot of things I just thought was so stupid. There's so much stupid shit throughout this show. And this finale, there's just a bunch of just like really just was like, bruh. Because do you notice how when I think it was either Mando or Boba got on the speeder and that thing took off? But then they get on their, like, the mods get on their bikes. It looks like they're driving a goddamn go-kart. It's like, bro. Wait, sorry. That's disrespectful to go-karts because those actually go faster. And, like, how do you, like, slide and, like, like you slide to the stop? Like, you could literally just jog off the bike going so slow. Like, that's just one of the continuing complaints, but that's not even a big complaint. But I'll stop.
I think the mods were like the worst part of it all.
Oh,
like
God.
hands
To be
down,
honest,
the worst part of it all.
I was cheering for the biker game to die.
No. Okay. Oh, I thought you were talking about you're cheering for them. Okay.
I would have been 100% okay with, like, what was up with that scene though, where the guy, like, they're getting Santo out of there. By the way, I love that they call
the guy with the eye mod, he does like little twirl
that, like, that
move
spin around and shit, like,
that was so
and like, oh my, yeah.
The scene before they literally
to be honest, like I said,
they couldn't hit shit, but now they can hit shit. Like, bro, what is that?
The only person I would have saved from that biker gang was Sophie Thatcher, the girl. Everyone else could have died. I don't care.
No, she could go too. Like, bro, like
they all.
That makes me mad is like how, like, when Fennec Shad saved them, they literally had to take a whole minute to stop and go, "Thank you." Like, bro, I don't give a fuck. You should have died. Like, Fennec wasted her time doing that. Like, bro, get out of here. This is
Why would you save the mods and not go save the Wookiee?
Like, bro, you're literally mods. Like you think of Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
they
you
got body mods, and they
you got
actually
shot
can
in the
defend
shoulder.
themselves.
Oh, what is mod you?
Bro,
That's
the
another one of my
mods are
complaints
the
too. It's
mods
like
are so
I'm getting just a little concerned that maybe Star Wars is relying on mods in the back to tank to like write out death. Like,
oh my, like
Well,
bro, the mods are
okay.
so
So like,
useless.
look.
What mods do they
With
got?
with
'Cause they
Cobb
don't-
Vanth got shot in the fucking shoulder.
yeah,
So
but nobody
like
thought he
that's
died though. We just thought he was injured. Like, we didn't
no,
need
but
him to
then
get
well then it's
modded
like
or get in a
but then when
back
like
tank.
the weak way was like, oh, he got shot, gunned down in cold blood. Like that generally means someone was killed, right? Like that generally means someone was killed. But then again, it's like I don't know, like they no mention of the deputy, which is fine because he was a fucking idiot. But I just feel like, look, though, I will say this though, the part where God, I can never Chrysanthemum, right? The Wookiee.
Oh yeah, Chrysanthemum, yeah.
Chrysanthemum. When he fucking nails that dude and like it's slow-mo, like has him in midair, and then he pulls out the fucking blaster and he nails him with the blaster. That was sick. Like Chrysanthemum was one of my favorite parts of the episode. That dude was badass as fuck. I liked the old Western feel. I liked the Butch Cassidy Sundance feel, especially when they were like getting shot at and all the blaster bolts are just like nailing the Beskar and everything else. Like there was a lot of really good shit in the episode. I thought the action worked really well. But like when it slowed down and like it got into the story bits kind of started to fall apart.
Force field. Like, why would you keep shooting the ray shield when you know it doesn't penetrate? I get it to cause a distraction, but there's so many points where they just start shooting at it. And it's like, bro, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. You're just wasting ammo. But then again, I forgot Star Wars and ammo doesn't exist.
Well, but gas does.
True.
So
True.
It's like we're running out of gas in 18 hours.
Dude,
never mind, the way space operates is when you hit a certain trajectory, you just keep going at the same speed, whatever you're doing.
It kills me.
But I know it's space.
The
I
mods
felt
are so useless. I don't know why they even introduce. They honestly, they can't hit. Okay, that scene with Fennec, they couldn't hit anything. They just kept dying. But then later, they're bullseye. Man's doing spins. It's like, bro, what type of body mods do you got? Because it looks like you just like screwed up your body and it doesn't do anything for you. Like, they're so useless. The most useless characters in Star Wars. I would rather see a whole episode of pit droids than that. I'm sorry.
I just want more Amy Sedaris.
Do you think dude like a thing?
I hope her and the mayor's assistant have sex.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
My God.
She was so ready to jump that. She was I was waiting. She was so ready. She called him cute face. She's like, "Get behind me." He's like, "Okay." She's like, "I'm gonna tap that later." So, good for her, man. Look, she hooked up with the Jawa, right? She knows just like to get into some weird shit.
She's adventurous, okay? She's adventurous.
There's not much else going on out there in Mos Eisley and stuff. Let's see here. Hold on. The Watcher says, "Have you guys played the Star Wars games? If you hit the shield enough time, it powers it down." Yeah, those are the games. Well, I still find it weird that the Darksaber was not able to cut through that though.
Remember,
I feel like the Darksaber should have been able to
wield it. I mean, maybe if he knew how to wield it properly. I don't know. I've been so out of loop with Star Wars lore. Like I can maybe it does. I don't know. I would have to get back into this, the material, but I don't know. But still, but like real quick, do you guys like that they don't even pick up right back up with the Grogu's decision? They just start off and it's just the X-wing landing. And it's just like, oh, there you go.
I mean, I think everyone knew he was gonna choose Mando, but we also don't know what else was said.
Yeah, I want to know how that conversation went down. Maybe we'll see that in the Ahsoka show.
Oh yeah, here we go. This is the thing. Yeah, rip the Gamorrean guards. Yep,
bro,
that part sucked because they squealed as they fell off the cliff.
Oh,
right.
They showed them falling down.
And then you hear the squeal. I was like, "Oh no!" That part sucked.
Bro,
but the mods lived, right? The mods lived, but the Gamorreans got. Yeah. That was so stupid.
That pissed me off.
But I did like how it played out like The Godfather. Everyone just got fucked. Like they got totally screwed, and then here comes Fennec and just takes them all out. That was great.
Yeah, but
that was good. I enjoyed that.
Not the mods could have.
No, that was not Crispin Glover as the mayor's assistant. He was slightly less creepy. Slightly. And then also real quick, H Bars did drop a $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, I want to see Vader deal with his guilt over Padme's death.
He needs to visit her grave. He needs to visit the grave, and it has to be like all those like fan made posters that they made of him visiting her her burial and stuff like that. Bro, that would be so crazy.
That would be very interesting to see what would happen with that. Well, that was the thing I enjoyed with the Star Wars Theory, the Shards of the Past, the Vader fan film that he did, dealing with with the emotion out of Padme's death. I agree with you, but at this point it's been 10 years. So I just wonder how much of him is still at this point. Is he I don't think he's going to be soft at all, because seeing his son is what prompted him to.
No, he's going to be ruthless. And
he's going to be ruthless and crazy. Yeah.
He's going to see him literally just brutalize people. I want to see him go full on, was it Rogue One hallway scene? I want to see Vader do that because, oh man.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, sorry, Rational Misses. Give me a Cade Skywalker TV series. Who is Cade Skywalker? Is that
I forget.
I don't remember.
Hold on. I'm Googling it. Skywalker.
But right. The feels of the Grogu and Mando scene,
is a human male bounty hunter, smuggler, and pirate who, hold on here, looks like an 80s hair metal guy. He's the son of Jedi Master Cole Skywalker and Morrigan Cord. He's also a direct descendant of Luke and Anakin, and a descendant of Ben Skywalker. He's also the nephew of Nat Skywalker, known as. Okay, so this is when is this? What the fuck is this shit?
So they would have to do a lot to get to that point, honestly.
This is it's from thing. Well, this is from the Legends.
Well, obviously, yeah, but I don't think they'll actually introduce. They might.
What year was this? I'm trying to figure out when I don't see the BBY on here. Oh, birth. Oh, okay. Pre-birth. He was born. When the fuck was he born? I don't know. This is hold on. His early days. It doesn't say when he was born. It just says pre-birth before 130 ABY. Okay. Thousands of years before Cade Skywalker's birth, he appeared in a vision to the Jedi Master Quinilla. I don't know, man. This is some shit. This is when we get hardcore. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here. So I'm going to say no, but you know what? Maybe you one day will. Maybe you one day will. Thank you, though, for that, Rational Skeptic. Appreciate it. H-Bar's here just says, Luke is a hypocrite. Dude cares about his sister and Han and Chewie. I mean, no, he cares about Grogu.
Oh, he cares about
Grogu.
The whole thing. That's why I said he's so hypocritical to make this choice. But then again, it makes sense because it's going to lead to the whole, fallen Ben Solo stuff. So, I mean,
yeah,
maybe this is just a start. But I definitely really hope that we see kind of how that conversation goes in the Ahsoka show. Because last time I checked, she's still there. So most likely, she'll be like, why is Grogu leaving? And Luke, it'll be that whole thing. So please do that. Thank you. I want to see how that conversation goes, because that's, if they're keeping the sequels and gonna lead up to that with more shows, I mean, it'd be important to kind of see what Luke was truly thinking.
Yeah, because I kind of thought that he was a hypocrite.
I thought it was, yeah.
So it's but again, it is kind of setting up that he's still going to fall down that path that he eventually. So they're just kind of laying the groundwork on that one. H-Ross here says Rebo lives. I completely agree. I was making the joke last night on RJ's stream about how what about Max Rebo getting a call. Hey kid, you're cool. Don't come to work today.
Yeah, don't come to school today, kid.
Don't come to school today.
We like you.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Anyway, Rebo returns to coming to Disney Plus late 2022. Fuck yeah. There you go.
Of course.
I mean, I'm not dissing on Rational Skeptic Super Chat. I just don't know who the character is. So, I don't know. Let's see. Skywalker Brian asks, how come Andor gets a series but not Jyn Erso? Because it's more interesting to have a spy than a person who kind of
either. They all die.
Nah, Cassian and Andor I like. I think there's a lot there to play with.
There's
a
a story
lot
you could tell with Cassian.
I think there's more of a story you can tell than you could with Jyn Erso. You know,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be Felicity Jones coming back either. It would be like they'd have to go younger with it, and it's just like whatever. So, but I think I'm okay with that. I mean, if they gave us a Jyn Erso series, I'd be okay with that. I would love to see them do more. I would love to see an expanded version of Rogue One where like all that shit from that first trailer gets added in. So I think, yeah, I agree with Watcher. Andor is cool. People going to be sleeping on Andor. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. So here we go. Only if Max Rebo saves a Gamorrean. So what if Max Rebo's there at the bottom and he saves him? That'd be pretty cool. I still feel bad about the goddamn Gamorreans though. All right. Why don't we move on to the final topic of the evening? We've already been on for an hour and a half. Thank you guys very much for that. But let's talk about Rebel Moon. This is one that a lot of people today were very happy to discuss, right? Very happy to get info on. So according to the Hollywood Reporter here, Charlie Hunnam, Jimon Hunsu, Bae Duna, and Ray Fisher joined Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Now, what did I say? I said Ray Fisher was going to be in this movie.
Oh, he almost had to be. He had to be in this one.
He had to be because his everything else cost him his career. Outside of the
Women's of the Movement was phenomenal, and he was great in it. So, and they're doing a second season.
I'm glad you watched it, man. I'm glad you checked that out.
Dude, it was a good and wild show. They did really good telling the story.
It was a great show. It was a great show.
I did not see it, but I want to. I want to.
It hurt my heart so much.
Yeah, no, that story is heartbreaking. That story is very heartbreaking.
Did such a good job with it.
And yeah, I saw the trailer. I liked the trailer quite a bit for it. I'm just saying it's a very heartbreaking story, and it's one that absolutely still I think needs to be known by a lot more people. I just don't know if ABC really pushed it.
They did really well. Well, they had to count another show after that actually went through the real life events and stuff like that, and brought in historians and a bunch of people, which was actually really good supplemental material to the show as like a counterpart. And me and my mom watched it. It was really good, and like watching that, it's like they did a really good job casting because they would show like the actors and then the real life people, and it's like holy shit, they did a really good job, and they showed photos and stuff like that, and it's really cool what they did with the whole story with both of those shows, and I think it like really is crazy because they talk about more like recent events with the case and stuff like that, so it's definitely worth checking out. I think both of them are on Hulu. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think they'll both be on Hulu. I know. Yeah, I know. Women of the Movement is. I honestly feel that name is pretty terrible. I think that's one of the things it's like you go, well, what is Women of the Movement? You know, and if like, oh, it's a story of Emmett Till's mom, and you're like, oh, okay, like I know what that is. But I still feel like naming your show that if it's meant to be like an anthology show or like
I
each
believe
season,
it is. Yeah.
Well, no, and I totally get that, but I feel like that's just the bigger
the
bigger
name kind of confused me, but I didn't really care. I totally like when I heard the name, I had no clue it was gonna be Emmett Till, but then I like kind of looked at the description like a couple weeks before it came out, and I'm like, oh shit, and then I watched it, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah. All right, well, no, I'll have to check it out. So go and check that one out. Yeah, Music Man here is like, that's a horrible name. H Parts here says, you don't know what I know.
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. So, all right, this is what we know here is that Sophia Boutella leads the ensemble of the sci-fi fantasy feature at Netflix. Boutella, not Nutella, not nutmeg and peanut butter. That stuff aggravates my diabetes like crazy. I can't touch it.
I'm sorry,
Charlie. It's okay. I've learned to live with it. I've learned to live with not being able to have Nutella because it will kill me.
Listen. You just Jarbo, you gotta have this mentality. Just don't give a fuck. I'm allergic to peanuts, but I've had peanuts 3 different times in my life, and each time I regret it. But it's so worth
See, I'm not allergic to peanuts, so that's good. But I am, I do overproduce insulin, I believe. Or whatever the fuck happens to diabetes. It's type 2, I'm fine. Charlie All right, here. So Charlie Hunnam, we already looked at that one. Have all joined the epic sci-fi fantasy feature that Zack Snyder is directing for Netflix. Jenna Malone, Staz Nair, E. Duffy, Charlotte Maggie, and Sky Yang have also signed on for parts in the feature, which is slated to begin shooting in April. Sophia Boutella is leading the ensemble in the story of a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy that is threatened by the armies of the tyrannical regent named Belisarius. Desperate, the colonists dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to help seek out warriors from a neighboring planet to help them make a stand. Now, I forgot to highlight this last bit here, but it says character details are about as easy to find as an honest galactic mercenary. But sources say that Hunsu is playing a character named General Titus. Good or bad status is unknown. Bay is a nemesis who is proficient with a sword, while Fisher is a resistance fighter named Blood Axe. Okay.
Do you like
not
those
really?
names?
I'm not really feeling the names. I know they're meant to be like Star Wars inspired, but it's like, this is Blood Axe. Like what do we call you? BA for short? Like BA Baracus? Dun 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 dun.
Let's call him Blood. Let's call him Blood.
Let's call him. What up, Blood? Yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, you want
Okay.
Oh, so what are we talking about now?
Okay. Maybe that's not. Listen, the names are very well. It's a play on like the Magnificent Seven type story. Like
No,
Bugs
I
Life,
totally get that. It's totally Star Wars, themed and Kurosawa themed, and I get all that stuff, right? I get all that. Yeah, because the H-Wars here is like Akira Kurosawa, Seven Samurai. Yeah, that's true. The music manager says, walked into that one, RJ. A little bit he did. But then also it goes on to say here that Snyder co-wrote the script with Army of the Dead co-screenwriters Shay Hatton and Kurt Johnstad, who wrote 300, the Snyder adaptation of the Frank Miller comic. Snyder and Johnstad are receiving the story by credit. Snyder is also producing with his producing partner and wife, Deborah Snyder, and Wesley Collar via the trio Stone Quarry production banner. And then also it says here that Moon has a rather long production shoot from April to November, and that is due to the project ambitiously being a 2-part movie. See, I think we talked about that the other night when this information first came out. It's not that it's ambitiously being a 2-part movie. It's that Netflix understands, like, if you look at how much money Red Notice cost to get out, right? Just for the part 1.
Like,
and they
talked about that with Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 7. We talked about that last night. Now it's $290 million production budget for just that one movie before tax incentives. So they're going to get some of that money back. But the whole point, though, is that like Netflix realizes that they're already going to do a sequel. Might as well just shoot the sequel back to back. Just
makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the popularity of Army of the Dead, it does make sense. The popularity of the Snyder Cut, it makes sense. So yeah, and then this one will probably end up getting a theatrical run. That could end up getting it in the running for maybe best visual effects or something along those lines, because I'm pretty certain that they're going to use Weta to do a lot of the stuff. So yeah, we just know that it's going to be a 2-part movie, which is great. But we also found out, this came in yesterday from the Illuminati. They had an exclusive talking about some of the details about the characters that are also in the movie. And they claim that this is what they've done. They've done some digging around and they've been able to get some information. Whereas a Hollywood Reporter was like, well, trying to get any kind of information is a bit impossible. But the Illuminati says they've got some stuff. So, take with a grain of salt, really, depending on how you view the Illuminati. And they say here that Sophia Boutella is playing a character named Cora, who is described as daring, composed, and self-possessed. She struggles with her self-worth. She's on a mission for redemption and discovery after facing unimaginable trauma in her youth, i.e. parents were fucking murdered.
Probably, yeah.
Probably murdered by Belisarius. Probably murdered standing up to Belisarius. Or her father is Belisarius. Fuck, I just ruined the movie, didn't I?
Yeah, you probably did.
I probably just ruined the movie. But I am your father. No! I swear to God, if that's in the movie, I'm permanently swearing off Zack Snyder. Because that is like, come on, that's pretty lame if that's the case. But I don't think they're going to go that cheeseball with that cliche. I hope not. Anyway, Belisarius is a tyrannical invader. He's described as a fierce warrior, cunning manipulator who alternates between charming and sadistic. From what we've heard, Netflix is looking to cast a man in his late 30s of Spanish, Mediterranean, Latin, or Middle Eastern descent to play the role. So probably not Sophia's dad, but her brother. How about that? Can we go with that one? Be your brother? Twin brother.
Be more acceptable?
A brother? I mean, it'd still kind of be in the same wheelhouse, but it would be, there'd be, it's not going to be as cliche as it's the brother. You can tell now it's the brother.
Yeah.
Because I believe she's Egyptian. I forget what she is. But Spanish, Mediterranean, Latin, or Middle Eastern can definitely kind of, you could look at Sophia Boutella and this other person and go, yeah, they're part of the same bloodline. So if you guys think that it's going to be your brother, that sounds about right. Yeah, Music Man here says sounds about right. Yeah. Let's see here. As opposed to Belisarius, who was the last great Roman general. Well, Rome kind of got fucked. So there you go. Also here is Noble, who is described as a charismatic, authoritative, and striking. He can be brutal to the point of cruelty. Netflix is looking to cast what appears to be a man in his 30s to take on the lead role. I'm assuming that's going to be Charlie Hunnam.
Probably,
yeah. And then you got Gunner, as described as a good-looking, serious, sincere, and reliable. Netflix is looking to cast a white dude, possibly of UK, Northern European, or Scandinavian descent. Well, that could be Charlie Hunnam because he's
that could be him. Yeah,
that could be him.
Honestly, yeah.
So maybe there's that. And then in his 30s, he's in his 30s. Then you have Eris, who is described as a rookie soldier who has still some innocence in him, which manifests in unexpected compassion despite the horrors he has seen. And they're looking for a South Asian man, 18 years or older, to play him. To play 16 for the supporting role. Devin is described as a rookie soldier who is sensitive. He feels irreconcilably at odds with what his commanding officer wants him to do. They're looking to cast a Middle Eastern man, 18 years or older, to play a 16-year-old. All right. Then you have Sam, is described as kind, compassionate, hardworking farm girl. Although she isn't worldly, she shows kindness, is welcoming with newcomers who arrive in her village, and they're looking to cast a Scandinavian or Northern European woman, 18 years or older, to play her. Am I getting like Sam is kind of like Eris from Final Fantasy VII? Like,
yes.
Am I getting that vibe? I'm getting real Final Fantasy VII vibes.
Yes.
It does sound like that. Like she's gonna die at the hands of Belisarius, and she's gonna be like really sweet on Gunner. He's going to be like, listen, I know I'm in my mid-30s and you're only 18-year-old, but you have breeding capacity and I'm horny. It's the future. We have to breed. And then, of course, you have this character here, right? This one here, Harmata. Described as lethal and ageless half-woman, half-spider. She preys on vulnerable children, twisted vengeance for the loss of her own. This role will include some prosthetics and fight training. I saw this floating around Twitter yesterday, and it does kind of come across like it's supposed to be like, Walter Hamada. It just feels a little bit on the nose.
Come on. The name of the character is Harmata.
Like that.
Yeah, I know. But it's a half woman, half spider.
At least he named something cool after him, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
Watch. Harmata is going to be killed by Blood Axe.
That would be fucking funny.
It's going to be like,
that would be great.
You're going to get a bit in the movie too, where all of a sudden, like, Harmata comes out. It's all, y'all want a hamburger? Want a Harmata burger? Harmata burger, ladies and gentlemen. And then it's just like,
might that being a one-liner? We're gonna make some
Harmata
burgers.
You want? We're gonna kill Harmata. Yeah, you want a Harmata burger after this? Like, I would die at that point. I would die. I would probably get up and leave the theater because, like, I feel like this movie is already setting us up to be like, it's meant to be taken seriously, but I feel like the memes are already starting to form. Like, I think like the memes are already there. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on this one, but I don't quite know. Let's see. Didn't this project come out of Schneider's? Why did you say Schneider? Like, why'd you spell it like that?
Schindler's List.
I thought it said Schindler, but it's like Snyder's rejected Star Wars pitch. It did. So it's going to be, yeah. Could be a thing there, but I don't know. But they did also drop some new what's it called? Artwork, right? Concept art. Well, there's this one, the original one here, which popped up a little while back, and that looks like it's supposed to be, the Belisarius forces, whatever they are. Looks pretty cool. I dig that one. We've already seen that though. There's a new one here where we get to see what appears to be a couple of them. I can't quite tell who is who. You going off towards a fortress. Obviously, this looks Star Wars. This looks like it's going to be Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it's gonna look more like Star Wars than the damn sequels did.
You know what? Probably, yeah, probably. So that looks pretty cool. And then you have this shot here of M. Bison. Belisarius.
This is actually such a wild picture right here.
Well, I get different vibes. So obviously I'm making the crack there about Belisarius looking like M. Bison from Street Fighter 2. Because it got a bit of that stuff there. And then also I feel like the Helgath, or like Helgath, whatever they're called from Killzone.
Oh yeah.
Kind of looks like that a little bit, Let's see here. I mean, going back, well, these guys don't have the red glowing eyes, so maybe they're another force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, maybe
something else. But the gun, I mean, the red kind of, I don't know, maybe they're elites or whatever. But I do like everyone bowing as he's there. I guarantee you, all of them are probably going to die in the movie.
They're forced because look, they got people staged around there making sure that they all bow, and it looks like there's is that is it what's his name, Mysterio in the background? What is that?
What do you mean, Mysterio?
Look at up, it's in the background, but it looks like the outline to Mysterio with the glass ball.
Oh, I see the second pillar from the left.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying there. I'm not too sure. I kind of get and I don't know if Command Unit is here, but it kind of feels like a little bit like Warhammer 40K inspired, a little bit, just a little bit. I could kind of see this thing happening here. Maybe that's a little bit of a thing there. And then finally, you've got this image here of now of what appears to be I think this is going to be Korra as a child and Korra's father, which does kind of strike. Look at that. Look at the hat. Look at the hat. Look at the hat. Look at the hat. Right? Look at the hat. Look at the hat.
The stance,
the hands, the stance, the coat,
the ego.
Right? Yeah.
Smell it from here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Belisarius is going to be brother or father. So that's probably going to happen. Great space Nazis. There we go.
That's the same plot in Star Wars.
Kinda, yeah. Space fascists. Fascists.
What they're based off of, all the Imperial weapons and stuff like that were all based off World War II weapons. So it's basically loosely based off of the Empire being Nazis. That's kind of the story of it. So
never mind the Hugo Boss style of conversation. Of the Imperial outfits, the uniforms worn by the officers. That kind of comes across.
These outfits look like they actually went straight up on the nose with it. Them being space Nazis. These outfits look oh shit.
Well, Gnomes here makes an interesting point. That's Snyder and his fascism obsession. Kinda. I mean, Snyder does like to present things from that perspective a little bit, and I get that. But I think also a lot of people out there, they resonate with those kind of stories, right? They resonate with those kind of character types, because we have to be when you want to tell a story like this, you can't have ambiguity in evil. It has to be something very relatable. Fascism under the Nazis, under the Third Reich, under the SS, under Germany during World War II. That Gestapo. Is something that is the Gestapo, all that shit. It makes all the sense in the world. That is what we refer to as fascism. That is what we refer to as a great evil. There's no ambiguity to that evil. You know what I mean? There's no ambiguity. Yeah. So it's not there's none of that there. You can't sympathize with the Nazis. So I think that's what he's going for here. I'll be very curious to see what they do with this.
It's pretty clear with the costumes. Go back to that other image.
Yeah.
with all the people on. Like, look at that. Like, look at that. That you cannot tell me that's like not like heavily referencing type Nazi officer outfits, because that gives me extremely like the vibes of it. And honestly, yeah, if this is like a kind of like a loose like adaptation, kind of like of Star Wars as in Seven Samurai, it makes sense because that's kind of like what it is.
Yeah, it's no, I totally get that. I completely agree with you. So these are, I mean, look, these look pretty cool. I'm definitely interested to see the movie, to see what they do with it. Obviously, Rebel Moon is going to be one that is going to be, I think, one of the bigger films on Netflix probably next year, because
it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
A lot of people are gonna rush out to go see it. I mean, well, you know, it's gonna be in theaters too. Toronto Freddy here asks, is this going straight to Netflix? Well, Netflix signed a deal actually after Army of the Dead, because Army of the Dead pulled in about like 780,000. I think in like the opening weekend it was at Cinemark theaters, but only in 400 locations, nationwide at least. So they signed a deal for that, and they put a lot of their other movies out through Cinemark. That might expand. Into the next year, given how theaters are, given how things are going right now. I don't quite know. And we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. But my thoughts on it right now are this is definitely going to go to theaters. I would assume probably IMAX, given the tech, if they're using the volume technology, which I think they are for this, the stagecraft. I would assume this is probably going to end up going to IMAX. This is going to be a very interesting film to see play out. And, yeah, I think a lot of people are a lot of Snyder fans are going to rush out to go see it, but clearly it's going to do well on Netflix.
They're going to see in theaters that honestly, this after just like kind of seeing all the stuff, it's like, I feel like it would be cool to see on Netflix, but like, I want to see it in theaters. Like, this is a type of movie. This is a movie theater type movie that it just gives me the vibe that like, I need to see this in like a bigger screen with like in a dark auditorium type shit. IMAX would be pretty crazy if they allow that. I hope they do like a traditional release with this as well alongside Netflix, but who knows?
It's gonna have to well, they're definitely gonna have to do that, and I'm hoping that they do. I'm hoping it's going to be very fascinating to see where things go with it. But I feel like that's kind of all the stories I got to cover tonight. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to quickly bring up.
No, I mean, it's pretty much the biggest headlines of the day. I feel like it's pretty much everything out there.
Yeah, there's I mean, the chat here, we'll give it a minute if you guys have anything you want to say. Let's see. Degrassi says Netflix hasn't stopped buying up screens. Well, what do you mean? I know that they bought the Egyptian theater, but I haven't heard of them. And a small theater like back east or something.
It's smart for them to do that. They get all their, streaming films and the award chasing running type shit,
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for that to happen. It makes a lot of sense for them to to really start like expanding outward, because these movies, look, I'll tell you this though, Red Notice did not need to be seen in theaters.
Oh, dude, no, that movie was. Oh, I totally forgot about that movie. Like what that movie was about. I watched it and it instantly exited my mind.
Yeah. I feel it didn't have a villain really in order to like really make you care about the characters and what they were going through, or to sympathize with them for anything else going forward. That was my biggest problem with that film. And then it wasn't that it was boring, but it was just kind of like, okay. And a lot of the Netflix movies, they tend to kind of, they kind of tend to lack a bit of that oversight sometimes. And even as much as I liked Army of the Dead, it was full Zack Snyder, and there was a lot there that they probably could have changed or cut out. I feel like, what was it? The whole time was like, going to get, what's her name? Gita? Was that her name? Right? The friend that was there that was going to get the money to kind of coyote out her kids. Was it Gita?
Right? Yeah, Gita.
So they get Gita in the helicopter, and the helicopter goes down, and the daughter flies out, and then she's all like, Dad! And then at no point was there Gita! Like, she didn't give a fuck. Like, her friend's dead.
The daughter character is just annoying, to be honest. So
yeah, and then I know
for sure.
So it's just kind of like, all right, it was a fine enough movie. I'm looking forward to Lost Vegas. I mean, Jay Olivia, I think, is going to bring it. So I'm looking forward to that. Twilight. Let's see here. HWAD says, fuck The Rock backing down from Joe Rogan. Dude would sell his daughter to make money.
Damn.
He's okay.
That's
then
harsh.
again, he's okay. Yeah, because he supported Joe when all that stuff first came out, but then Joe got, with the misinformation, but then like this other stuff came up with the compilation of certain things, and Rock is like, yeah, I'm backing down because he's in his own scandal and he's attempted to get canceled. At I'm like, I don't care if The Rock gets canceled. I mean, I don't think anyone should get canceled. I mean, but like, dude, it's kind of funny how he like makes a public like announcement that he's stepping away from Joe Rogan. Like, dude, this man, like, it's funny, but that's a whole shit show.
I don't. Yeah, at this point, I don't care. Like, I don't. The Rock is gonna do what The Rock is gonna do.
He's gonna jump to 9 IPs. Don't worry, he won't get.
Yeah,
canceled.
he'll. You know what? All he'll do now is if it gets too heavy, all of a sudden he'll just come back out and go like, "So guys, Hobbs is coming back to Fast and Furious 10." Right? We're gonna see Hobbs.
He always has a backup plan. Like if his career really goes on the shirt, he'd be like, "Well, I have potential just to show up and make a cameo on WWE. They need the money and views. Also, Fast 10. Guess what? Hobbs is back, and he's friends with Don.
Yeah, we're bringing him back. We're bringing him. We're bringing everybody back. So I know that's so
blowing
ridiculous.
Up the moon.
It's HWAD here is like he's such a fake fuck. I mean, like the thing is he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy, but at the same time, he is everyone has said he's a sweet guy, but he's a businessman. And at this point, whatever The Rock was like 10 years ago is not what The Rock is now.
The Rock is just a straight up businessman.
He's just he cares about he cares about his money. He doesn't even attempt to try to be a different character. He just literally plays himself in every movie. And
dead ass. Oh my god, so true. Holy
so there's that. But yes, I agree with Toronto Freddy here. Peacemaker in 40 minutes. Goddamn right. I finally saw last week's episode of Peacemaker the other night, and I'm very curious to see where it goes this week because this is the penultimate episode.
Oh yeah, they're saying these last two episodes are gonna be huge.
This is gonna set up the finale. I know people who have seen the last episode, the 7th episode so far, because they were able to watch all of them, but they weren't able to watch the 8th episode because James Gunn wanted to make sure that did not spoil. And look, we've been really lucky this far to have nothing really come out. So we'll talk about the Peacemaker tomorrow. Hopefully, it will have a better taste in my mouth than Boba Fett. Frost here says Jarbo's weird hate boner for The Rock is still one of Earth's greatest mysteries. It's not that though. Like, it's not that I don't hate the guy, but I also, it's like, I'm not going to herald him as a god as so many people do, so there's that. Hold on here. Degrassi says Squid Game is getting a limited theatrical engagement at Netflix's New York and LA theaters this weekend and next. What? Like, wait, hold on. Are you going to be able to go sit down for like 7 hours and watch Squid Game?
Dude, that's
in like one sitting?
Wild. That's
like,
wild.
that's fucking nuts, dude. Because how would you break that up if you were going to do it over a couple days? Like episodes, 1 through 4 and then 5 through 9? I mean,
I don't think I could do that. I would lose
that's
my
a
mind.
lot. Yeah. Now, granted, I went through the first like 6 episodes in one sitting, and then I wrapped up the last like 3 the next afternoon. So, but yeah, man, I don't know. That's insane. 2 sittings over 2 weekends. That's nuts. That's crazy, man. That's fucking nuts. Like, I don't know if I would subject myself to that, to be honest with you. That's a lot of shit there. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's dedication. I think I'll just prefer to watch it in one sitting over 1 week.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Completely freaking agree, guys. But on that note, it is time to wrap it up. I'm going to go and get myself a little snack and get ready to watch Peacemaker. If you guys haven't already, please like the stream. If you guys enjoy what I do here, please feel free to subscribe if you're new. Hit that bell we go live most nights. Tomorrow night will be a call-in night. We're going to do call-ins. And then I got to set up a screening time to watch a movie this weekend in the Discord to do that. So that would be, look for that information tomorrow night as well. And I will chit chat with you guys all later. Thank you again for hanging out, everybody. Have yourself a great night and peace the hell out.